Welcome! Today we're diving into 50 rare historical photos that might completely change your perspective on the past. Write in comments what you think about the last photo.
Here we see an Ojibwe woman in Ponema, Minnesota, beautifully captured by photographer Roland W. Reed around 1908. A sailor in 1967 submits an unusual leave request. He wants time off because his wife plans to get pregnant that weekend, and he'd like to be present. In 1955, photographer Walter Chandoha snapped his daughter Paula and a kitten smiling perfectly at the camera, a timeless, heartwarming moment. A New York police officer joins children in a game of Duck, Duck, Goose in 1970, showing a rare, joyful side of the uniform. A U.S. soldier shares his rations with two Italian children during World War II in 1944, a small act of kindness in dark times. In Germany, 1945, a former prisoner identifies the most brutal guard just after the war's end. A baby lamb cuddles next to a sleeping boy in 1940. Innocence and warmth captured in a single photo. These girls were sent home from McKinley High School in Chicago in 1946 for wearing jeans and slacks, a quiet rebellion for equality. John Smith, known as the oldest Native American, was said to have lived through 3 centuries, born in the 1700s, died in the 1900s. A loyal dog says a final goodbye to his fallen soldier friend during the Afghan War in 2004, a heartbreaking moment of loyalty. Joe Forts, Vancouver's first official lifeguard, saved dozens of lives in the early 1900s, a beloved hero known as Old Black Joe. A shy young woman smiles gently for the camera 143 years ago, a rare glimpse of pure authenticity from the past. A family portrait taken in Georgia around 1900, capturing love, unity, and the passage of time. The ship Queen Elizabeth arrives in New York in 1945, carrying soldiers finally returning home from World War II. A young woman photographed in the 1910s, timeless grace frozen in monochrome. 5-year-old Albert Einstein in 1884, already showing the spark that would change the world of science. The Empire State Building stands tall against the New York skyline in 1941, a symbol of modern ambition. Abraham Lincoln in 1861, and again in 1865, the toll of war etched clearly into his face. An old fisherman smiles in Bergen, Norway in 1902, weathered, wise, and full of life. In 1958, New York dancers in a nightclub play chess. Long before smartphones, people still knew how to connect. Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau carries young Justin Trudeau, Canada's future leader, under his arm in 1973. With her husband at war, a mother works under the hood of her car in 1944, strength in every sense. A lady from high society poses proudly in the Ottoman Empire in the early 1900s, elegance from another world. A man with Down syndrome, photographed in the 1890s, shone with dignity and humanity far ahead of his time. A young couple stands by a speed limit sign in the 1920s Oklahoma, youth, humor, and romance all in one frame. In January 1921, Washington, D.C., Republicans and Democrats settle their differences in a snowball fight. Fans line up for the Star Wars premiere in Vancouver in 1977, excitement in the air for a galaxy far, far away. An early version of a selfie stick appears in the 1940s, proving human creativity never goes out of style. An American soldier returns home from the Great War around 1918, hope reborn after years of chaos. A young Marine in Da Nang, Vietnam, 1965, too young to vote, but old enough to fight. A cowboy from the 1890s, rugged, confident, and forever iconic of the Wild West. Goodyear's illuminated tires in 1961, glowing wheels that lit up the night and the imagination. In 1953, rescuers pull Paul Overby from a truck hanging off a California bridge, moments before it bursts into flames. A typical American family in 1950s Detroit, proud, peaceful, and full of post-war optimism. Airmail pilot Wild Bill Hobson in 1926, fearless skies and the early days of aviation. A Mexican baker in the late 1800s, hardworking, graceful, and full of quiet pride. A Victorian home being moved by horses in San Francisco in 1908, human ingenuity at its finest. At the Track restaurant in the 1950s Los Angeles, food arrives on conveyor belts straight to your car, the future of dining then. A woman walks the streets as a walking library, renting books by hand, bringing knowledge door to door. Cab drivers at Madison Square Garden, New York, 1900, the hustle of the city in its early motor age. The Drexel Institute's girls' rifle team, powerful, confident, and breaking boundaries in early America. Crossing the Thames in 1949, a poetic shot by René Grobley, filled with shadow and motion. August 14, 1945, people rest among confetti in New York City after celebrating the end of World War II. Downtown Boston in 1910, a glimpse of urban life over a century ago. A fashionable young woman steps off a New York streetcar in 1912. Elegance meets modernity. A gentleman tips his hat to a group of ladies in the 1920s. Manners from a bygone era. Marilyn Monroe's first wedding in 1942. She was just 16, still Norma Jean before fame found her. Passengers aboard the Staten Island ferry in 1895. Simple, serene moments before the modern rush. John D. Rockefeller gives a child a 5-cent coin in 1929. Generosity or irony? You decide. A young Leonardo DiCaprio with his parents George and Emerlyn in 1976. A glimpse of a star before the spotlight.